Imagine this, a big beautiful house, lots of money in the bank, a clean and elegant look, and a deep silence that feels almost like death. Nicholas seems like a successful man, but inside, he's trapped. His life is full of rules and control, but empty of real feeling. He's not really living, he's not really dying, he's just stuck. The game starts from this moment, when everything looks fine, but something is missing. When things go well on the outside, but you still feel empty inside, it means something is wrong. At first, it may seem like this is just a movie about a man playing a strange game. But no, this is a journey deep inside the mind, a journey to face the biggest question we all try to escape. Who am I? The company called Consumer Recreation Services (CRS) is not just a place that creates games. It is a catalyst, something that starts a big change. CRS enters Nicholas's life to break his cold routine and challenge his need for full control. It pushes him into a journey he never expected. The invitation to join that game is really an invitation to face himself. Each part of the game is not only a challenge in the outside world, it's also an attack on Nicholas's fake identity, the walls he built to protect himself. CRS is not just playing with him. In a way, it's like a doctor opening hidden wounds, painful but necessary. The game is more than fun, it is a painful and important process to set him free. CRS is not trying to control Nicholas. They are trying to free him. No one breaks all at once. Nicholas's fall happens step by step. At first, the game seems strange but harmless, just small surprises. But slowly, the pressure grows, things get darker, people disappear, the world around him becomes confusing. Trust slips through his fingers, first in others, then in himself, and finally in the shape of reality itself. CRS carefully pulls Nicholas out of a safe zone. He loses control. His money is gone. His home is no longer safe. This man, who used to control everything, is now inside a game with no clear rules. And then the graveyard. The film beautifully captures the meaning of having nothing left to lose when Nicholas wakes up inside a grave in a foreign country without money or a passport. It powerfully conveys the feeling of hitting rock bottom, a point from which Nicholas gradually prepares himself for the final battle with his own self. What happens when you lose everything? Maybe that's when you finally see what truly matters. Maybe you have to lose it all to find yourself. Nicholas is now standing on the edge, not as a victim, but as a person ready to be reborn. One of the most powerful moments in the game happens when Nicholas stands on the edge of the rooftop. At this point, he has lost everything. This is not just a dramatic scene, it is the emotional climax of his journey. For most of the film, Nicholas tries to protect himself with power, distance, and cold logic. But here, there is nothing left to protect him. The camera shows him alone, silent and afraid. No more words, no more performance, just a man facing who he really is. His decision to jump is not simply an act of desperation. It's symbolic. It represents surrender, not to death, but to life as it really is, uncertain, painful, and out of control. In that moment, Nicholas lets go of the false identity he built for years. When he crashes through the glass ceiling and lands in the middle of the surprise party, the tone of the film shifts completely. He has reborn, not with celebration, but with quiet shock and reflection. This is not a happy ending, it's a new beginning. Nicholas is no longer the man who tries to control everything. He has faced his deepest fears and accepted that life cannot be planned like a business deal. He steps into the unknown not with power, but with peace. The game ends not with a victory, but with a transformation. The man who once lived behind a mask now walks into life without one. Nicholas Van Orden in the game is a man with strict rules and perfect financial control. He does not let anything get out of his hands until the game takes everything away: his money, his status, his peace, and even the truth. But by losing these, he gains a new truth. Who are you really when you have nothing left to lose? On the other side, the unnamed narrator of Fight Club faces the same inner emptiness, but not from outside forces, but from inside his broken mind. To escape his insomnia and lack of identity, he creates Tyler, a symbol of anger, violence, freedom, and breaking the rules. Tyler must be destroyed for the real self to wake up. In terms of story structure, both movies use the idea of a big plan against the hero, but with one important difference. In the game, the plan is made from outside, with the hero's hidden agreements, and that leads to saving himself. In Fight Club, the plan comes from inside the mind, and that leads to breaking down the outside world. In the end, both films say the same truth: you cannot grow something new until you fall apart inside. If you do not face yourself, be angry, scared, a lost part, everything you build is just empty repetition. The game is the story of a man who must fall before he can rise again. Not to return to where he was, but to arrive at a place he never knew existed, somewhere deep inside himself. Along the way, everything is taken from him, but one thing remains: his true self, raw, unsure, but alive. The film shows us that sometimes the only way to grow is to be broken. That redemption is not always peaceful and full of light. Sometimes it comes with fear and darkness. And sometimes, only in the middle of emptiness, we finally see who we really are. In the end, Nicholas Van Orden may not be the same powerful man he once was, but he's someone who has walked through the fire and survived. And then the words of Nietzsche come to life: what does not kill me makes me stronger. Existentialism is a philosophy that looks deeply at human life, not as a system, not as a rule, but as a personal experience. It says that we are born into a world with no clear meaning. There is no plan for who we are. We must create ourselves. This is both beautiful and terrifying. Jean-Paul Sartre, a famous existentialist, said, "Existence comes before essence." That means we are not born with a fixed purpose. We live first and then we define who we are through our choices. But this freedom is not easy. It brings anxiety. If we are truly free, then we are also responsible for everything we do. There is no one to blame, no system to hide behind. This is what existentialists like Kierkegaard, Heidegger, and Camus talk about: the fear, the loneliness, but also the honesty of human life. In the game, Nicholas Van Orden starts as a man trapped in his routines. Then the game begins, something that slowly breaks down everything. It brings him close to death, and it is in this moment, at the edge of existence, that something real happens. He is forced to face himself, not as a banker, not as a son, just as a human being. This is the heart of existentialism. When you lose everything, you are finally free to choose who you want to be.